What's up? It's West Coast Wednesday. All right, so um, look, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened, right? And I just can't get this situation out of my mind. The thing that happened today at the United States Capitol building. Like, if I didn't watch the news, then I'll probably be able to give you guys something that's a different perspective. But my mind just will not leave the fact that I watch 4 hours of the news. Right? I don't watch the news ever. Period and point blank. My wife might send me a clip or something like that, but I don't do the news for various reasons. But I found myself watching the news for 4 hours, and in these 4 hours, I'm picking apart, analyzing, psychoanalyzing, political analyzing. I'm doing all this analyzing of what's being said, what's not being said, who's saying what. How somebody switched from being on CNN and now she's on Fox, and just all sorts of things. I'm just all that's in my head, right? And long story short, when I get up here to do this West Coast Wednesday, I'm like, all right, I want to talk about this is what I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about them folks. I don't want to talk about what they did. I don't want to talk about why they did it. I want to talk about my feelings on it. Don't matter. I don't even want to talk about the young lady who was shot. God rest her soul. But what did stand out was the fact that I looked over at my book I'm supposed to be reading today. I'm like, man, that was slated in that time slot, right? I was like, man, I got an hour and a half I can watch, news and boom. But then these other 2.5 hours, I'm gonna be on this book because that's the thing I've intended to do today, right? When I made out my little schedule, read your book, right? You listen to your other audio book. Now you got to read this book, right? Because my goal is to listen to an audio book and read a physical book once per month, right? At least once. So I got 2 books that I'll finish in a month if I stick to my plan. So this book that I'm supposed to be reading is reason why I chose it to start off the year is because it's a book that I've read before, but the way that I normally read it is I read a couple of chapters and I put it down for a month or two, then I pick it back up because mentally, emotionally, psychologically, it does a lot to me, right? And so, normally I use that as an excuse to tap out. But if I go ahead and schedule it like I have it scheduled, then I'll get through the book within a month, easy, right? And that book is Eerie Silence by Ammar Sahili. And the other book I'm listening to, the audio book, is Relational Intelligence by Darius Daniels. And so, man, I lost 4 hours or 2.5 hours on my book today, right? And now I have to make it up in some other place, right? And I love the Lakers. And so, it's going to be easy for me to say, well, I'll make it up before the Laker game. Nah, I'm going to replace that time. I'm going to fill that. I'm going to replace that time that I was going to watch the Lakers, and I'm going to read that book instead. I have to be intentional. Hopefully next time, something happens in this news cycle, I'll be like, nah, I don't want to miss a Laker game, so I'm going to go ahead and read my book. But I said all that to say is that sometimes life will take you in one direction and move you in another direction. Whatever you had planned on doing in life's time in that moment doesn't mean you can't pick it back up. Doesn't mean you can't adjust on the back end. Doesn't mean that, if you went and spent money eating out, you said, I'm not going to spend any money eating out, but you spend money eating out on Monday and Tuesday, and you're like, man, it doesn't mean like next Monday and Tuesday you don't pack a lunch or you do something, make sure you don't eat out, whatever the case may be, right? You can always make up for those things that you've missed. You can't make up for lost time, but you can adjust, right? So anyways, that's my encouragement for us on this West Coast Wednesday. Can't make up for lost time, but you can adjust your time in the future by doing something that is intentional and that is purposeful and that is what you're supposed to do. Hopefully this one works. This is like my 50th take. For real. Still A. As always, stay west, stay blessed.